everything, that only shines. All the objective universe of name and form, which we are seeing now, it dissolves, it disappears. Sakshi Swayam, and that Sakshi, Aham Asmi, I am that witness consciousness. I am no more this, and all this has disappeared, vanished. What remains that consciousness as witness consciousness, and then that way I am that. In this way, it shines forth in the antaspurati kevalam, in the inner core of the heart. That realization shines forth. And next 32 we read Nishesho Tyakta Sanghata. Sanghata means association. There is no more association with the world of duality, world of this Maya. So Nishesho Tyakta, it has been renounced totally. Then what remains? Kevalaha Sarupa Sayam. That Kevala Sarup, onlyness nature of me, and that is Swayam, I am that. That. Usti nasti buddhi dharmai sarvatmana paritajit. Then you think God is there, Brahman not there. These are all the dharma, the nature, characteristic of our intellect. Buddhi dharme sarvatmana paritajit. In the Atman, dissolve everything, give up everything or dissolve everything in the Buddhi dharma. And also you read this 33rd verse. Aham sarvatmana taktva sarvo bhavena sarvada ahamasmi iti aham bhami visrijya kevalo bhava. So 33 verses, totally renouncing aham sarvatmana taktva, having totally renounced the condition of aham, I. This gross I turn to the witness consciousness. Even say witness consciousness, you say it is witness consciousness, that means there is somebody witnessing something else. The trace of little ego may remain there. That ego also give up. Aham sarvatmana taktva sarva bhavena sarvada. In all possible ways and in all possible mood. So what remains? Ahamasmiti bhami. I am that. Then that way it will be revealing or it will be existing. Visrijya, giving up aham idea, I idea, kevalo bhava. Be only you. Be that. Keval means only. Bhava means be. Be only who you are. Be only that you are. That means lower stage of reality is this. This is not true. God is true. But the objective universe is changeful. It is not permanent. It is not Brahman. Brahman is something else. This is the duality. We are working in the duality. And if we everything converge into that, everything is I am the witness consciousness. These are all objective universe. And after ultimately meditating on that and contemplating on that day and day and day in and day out, the concept will come, a point of revelation will come. When this whole name and form, the duality will dissolve, then we may say that I am. Even I am that witness consciousness. Trace of the sense of I-ness remains. And when that I-ness is totally dissolved, then remains that which is your own self, kevala, onlyness, only that. You cannot say what is it or that. Having totally renounced the ego identity forever, completely, in all possible modes, and having let go of the idea that I am and I manifest. This idea, I am, I manifest. This, even those concepts are all renounced. Be then kevala. Kevala means everything in this world is compounded, no? You see, be uncompounded. Everything is a mixture of this, no? Panchabhuta. Gross form, subtle form, whatever. But you go to that uncompounded form. That's really how to describe Brahman. Kevala means onlyness, and in another language you can say Kevala, uncompounded. That means who are you only? You. That is the only thing last remain. Now today we go to the verse number 34. Jagrad api shushuptistho, Jagrat api shushuptistho, Jagrat dharma vivarjitaha, Jagrat dharma vivarjitaha, Shaushupte shaite dharme, Shaushupte shaite dharme, Tu agyani chetana sayam, Tu agyani chetana sayam, Jagrat api susuptostu. You are in with your eyes open at that state of experience. Eyes is open, or you are as if as you are awake, but as if a person in the state of deep sleep, you will be remaining in that mood. As if your eyes are open, you are seeing the universe, but not you are not seeing the universe. Like in the deep sleep, what remains? Joy remains. Or every day when you go to deep sleep, everyone finds joy. Why? That is the place. Joy you are almost going to touch, but there is a layer of ignorance that does not allow us to see the truth. And one, when practices spiritual discipline and moves in this direction, with mind fully awake, they penetrate this veil, last veil, and they see the light face to face. So every day we go to deep sleep and come back the same old guy. But if you consciously move by meditation or identification or analytical path and reach that point of susupti, then that veil which was covering, because you are consciously moving, you are successful in moving that far, then what will happen? You will see that veil is not there. And you see the light face to face. That is called the samadhi state or absorption, state of absorption, or kevala state. So he says, Jagrat api. When you are being in the waking state, Jagrat. Jagrat is this waking. As if you are waking, you are Ramakrishna, walking with eyes open, Jagrat. Sushuptastu. So most of the time they're indrawn. Swami Brahmananda. You see the photograph like that. He's looking, but he's pulled in. Ramakrishna said to him, Master Mosai, oh, could you bring some picture of painting for me? What is that? I want to see that the bird is sitting on an egg to hatch the egg. No, he's looking outside, but his whole mind is always on the egg. This is the condition. Eyes open, but they don't see the way we see. Their whole mind is withdrawn into that consciousness. So Jagradapi, Susuptastu, as if you are in that deep sleep state of consciousness. And Jagradharma Vivarjito. There is no dharma, there is no characteristics of the waking state. We interact now. This world is so real. But in that state of realization, what will happen? He will be in the world, Ramakrishna in the world. But he didn't live in this world with ours. He lived in another level of consciousness all the time. So Jagrat Abhi, Jagrat Dharma Vivarjita. He is acting, behaving, living as it were with us in the Jagrat, in the waking state experiences. He's talking about something, but his whole mind is set withdrawn. This is Jagrat Dharma, the Dharma, the characteristics in our Jagrat place, in our waking state, what our body, mind, emotion functions. His body, mind is there, but it's not functioning in that level. It is in another level. Say Jagrat Dharma Vivarjita. It's a very important point. Jagrat Dharma means our anger, our thirst, our hunger, our all these things are we are so much burdened with them. But in that state, he will be there in the Jagrut. He will be like us, eating, sleeping, as it were. They only body eats, they know it is not, he is not eating. It's fully separated. Jagrut dharma as our dharma of hunger, as our dharma of thirst. They may appear to be like that, but it is only connected with the body. Body is doing body's function, but they are totally off from that. And this best example as the hatching the bird and then hatching the egg, that bird. And actually, Master Mosai brought one, and that you will find in the Bengali gospel cover. They used to give that. In the gospel, inside you can find that photograph.
Yogi Chok.
The eyes of a yogi, right? Yogi Chok. So, but the Yogi Chakra is, and Raja Maharaj, you will find that his eyes are open, but it is, where is the eyes? There is no, as now in Swamiji, you see closed eyes, you cannot see. But Raja Maharaj's eyes is a little open, and it is there, but it is not here. So Jagrut Dharma Vivarjito. Okay, he was, Swami Brahmananda was with a hubble bubble, smoking hubble bubble. And he was doing like that, and hubble bubble dropped on his hand. No? And he was in the world, he was hubble bubble, if you smoke, the rod you are holding and puffing. Huh? But one puff, Pro Ananda Swami said, he will be one puff, and how long it goes. And he is here, he is not here. We sometimes say he is absent-minded. We are absent-minded. That is that idea. If we know absent-minded, it is possible. They live in that consciousness. Absent-minded means what is happening here, you are not connected. Your mind is somewhere else. You are connected that side. So here, for this type of realized soul, their mind is in the cable of all the own moon self-effulgent reality, and that is full of bliss. That's why they are sometimes. That's why Ramakrishna continuously staying in that run. He got the message from mother. You stay in bhava mukha, in that state where you will be in the world almost merging into samadhi, but not dropped yet. So that's a very, only great souls can live at that point. Other ordinary souls will be sucked into that joy. There's such a tremendous black hole, as it were, sucking. So, sushupte, shoshupte, shoite dharme, to ajnane chetanasayam. Shoshupte shoite, when the sushupti state is also get destroyed, dharme, that dharma of the sushupti state gets destroyed, or that is also wiped out, to dharme, to ajnane, say that state, last trace of ajnane, chetanasayam. Then after that, when I also get lost in sushupte kshayite, in that state of last trace of ego, very difficult for us to understand that finer state of ego gone. Then they go into the witness consciousness, and that witness consciousness to absolute merging into nirvikalpa. There are finer layers. They are talking about those last trace, and then that gets totally destroyed to ajnane, shoite dharme, to ajnane chetanasayam. Then there remains the chetana, only consciousness remains. Having fallen into a deep sleep-like state, even while awake, one is completely free from characteristics of the waking state. When ignorance, which is the characteristics of state of deep sleep, decays, one remains in one's own consciousness alone. So, when we fall asleep in a sleep like state, even while awake, one is completely free from the characteristics of the waking state. Waking state, things are happening, but that person is not involved into it. So when ignorance such, you reach that level of perfection and go back to that susupti state, ignorant, where the ignorance is the only last barrier, which is the characteristic of the deep sleep state. Every day we can go up to deep sleep state, but yogis can penetrate that and go to the samadhi state. So the decays, one remains in one's own consciousness alone. That is the goal of human life, to reach that state. Jagrot dharma means actions associated with the sense organs, our eyes, ears, nose, hand, feet, while functioning through the gross body. And susupti dharma, what is the susupti, nature of susupti? Deep sleep, that is the ignorance. Understand that? Every day, when you go to sleep, deep sleep, no dream, in which state, what is there? You say, I do not know anything. See, that is the expression we all give. Oh, what happened? I did not know. Last night it rained, I didn't know. I was fast asleep. So the sleep condition, what remains with you? Satchidananda remains all the time. Now is there, dream is also there, sleep is also there, beyond sleep is there. That cannot go anywhere, no? But what happens here, the susupti avastha, at that state of deep sleep, what remains is only your ignorance. How do you say, I know that I have ignorance? Everyone says. What you say? I had a good sleep last night, no? But I do not know when you called me. The phone rang, but I could not receive it. I was fast asleep, deep asleep. See, our own expression gives the validity of the thing, what is happening. I was there as consciousness, but I was not knowing anything. So I was not aware of. So only the ignorance is the last barrier. This very clarity of mind should be there here. What is in the deep sleep state? There we say ignorance or the last trace of ego, I. Annamayo. And now we are at five. We are five clothing over the self. One t-shirt, one jacket, one shirt, one jacket, one blanket, one cloth, and one blanket. Five. No. So five. This is the big blanket where everyone can see it, they touch it. Now go subtle. This is the annamaya. Now next inner case is another this chadar. Huh? That is the pranamaya. Then is the goes inside one another layer. That's mind, manomaya. Then goes another internal. That's called vijnanamaya, buddhi, intellect, covering. Then goes another. That is called the anandamaya. That's the last layer. And you can take out that, then what remains? You remain you. Nothing else. That is the analytical pattern. In waking state, we have all these five coverings. We are a bundle of. That's why we cannot enjoy anything. It's called the বাংলায় বলে ভোট কম্বল গায়ে দিয়ে দৌড়াতে বললে দৌড়াতে পারে. Can one run with some itchy blanket covering in the body with layers and layers of things and then covering another blanket? So that's why we are slow in the material world for having joy, having fun, having anything. No. Now throw away the blanket, outside blanket. So we throw away this outside blanket, only one blanket, big blanket of physical identity. I am this place, moon, etc. But in the dream, you remain four other clothing you are wearing. Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. And of course, the subtle five elements also function. That's why not the gross. Gross is gone. Gross blanket to throw away. We throw away every day one blanket or the other blanket. But in meditation, if you can practice throwing the blanket every day consciously, that's called spiritual sadhana. I'm not the body, first blanket throwing. It's very difficult because we are in this level of blanket and we see this. It is nice, oh, it is good. It is old, it is young, it is this, it is that. And we feed it, we polish it and sign it. How much we try to keep them. And then only you shed one. Then you go into the dream state. So in dream state, you see all the four are there. Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. And now in sleep you go, in deep sleep, you give up another blanket, all the three blankets. Pranamaya, you don't know that you are breathing, your energy body. Pranamaya, Manomaya, you do not know you have a mind. You do not know you have any intellect. You remain in the one cover, last covering, that is called the ignorance. Anandamaya course. Anandamaya course is actually ignorance because that is the starting point of this entire universe. Absolute coming into the reality of this. So there is only ego. That's why Swamiji sang the song. Bahe matru ami ami yehi dhara অনুক্ষণ সে ধারাও বদ্ধ হলো শূন্যে শূন্য মিলাইল অবাং মানস গোচরম বোঝে প্রাণ বোঝে যার. You know, what a grand idea, huh? What we are reading, Swamiji has beautifully expressed in this music. Bahe matra ami ami, last trace in the ego body or in a deep sleep state. It's comparing with deep sleep state. There ki bahe matra ami I am there, and that ignorance, the veil covering that this side with the infinite side. Last trace, very thin layer. And Shedharao, this I, that flow of ego idea also dissolve. Then what remains? Everything void went into void. Here is the Buddhistic idea. They call Shunna, Shunna, Shunna. But Vedanta comes next step. It is not Shunna. There is something which is only being experienced, which is beyond mind, beyond intellect. Abang manasya gocharam. Abak, speech cannot reach there. Manasya, abak, manasya, mind cannot reach there. Mind is already gone. How mind is dropped in the sukshma body, in the subtle body. Manasya, abang manasya go agocharam. It is beyond the ken of this mind to perfume or the intellect to fathom. Boje. That's why here is the uniqueness of Vedanta, that it is not void. Who says it is void? There should be somebody. You say there is nothing. But are you not there to say there is nothing? That is the truth. Anuhuyante yena tamko nivarayat. If the experience anuhuyante yena, by which consciousness you experience anuhuyante yena tam, that ko nivarayat. Who can destroy that? With that consciousness, everything is realized. So you cannot have anything to. So that is the Abang Manasya Gocharam, Bojhe Pran Bojhe. That one who can experience, they can only understand. After they, he, she, nothing remains there. But we can understand that there is something because these are the experience. When they come down, they say, oh, what a joy, what a joy. No? Ramakrishna story. 3 or 4 friends were going and then found that there is a big fun and laughter is coming out from the other side with the wall. Then he said, 4 friends, they said, okay, why not you go? One of my friend. And they made what is called that one over the wall, over pyramid, man pyramid, naki. Yeah. Human pyramid, naki. Yeah. Anyhow, so they went there and the friend saw that laughter and joy and ha 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 and dropped on the other side. And then nobody can come back from that experience. But does not mean there is no joy. So much joy, one cannot contain, and their ego, entire personality dropped on the other side of the consciousness. And now second also and third, and one turned back and they told, wow, what a joy going on. See, experience and then come back and tell us on the other side of the wall. You should have to be standing on this side of the wall. If you just drop on the other side, who will say what? But ordinary Jivan Muktas, they drop on the side and come back. Those who are ordinary sadhakas, they get a touch of that and then come back. But Ramakrishna can stay there for 6 months and then come back again. Never we hear in the history that someone has done that. But God can do everything, no? To stay that height. So major thing is Sushupti state. In the Sushupti nature, if you want to clarify yourself, what remains in your deep sleep state? Only ignorance, and beyond is the infinite joy. And you cannot know anything because that ignorance is buried there. Because mind is already slept. If the mind was awake here, mind was conscious, that's why we meditate. We go to sleep, but instead of going to sleep, if one can keep the mind awake and focus to it, go, then they will be seeing that light and more light and more light, no? And that will drag them to the light, eternal light. So this is not darkness. There is no darkness. The tamu, what is that Upanishad? Upanishadic word. Na tejo, na tamu, tatam. Anyhow, so Susupti Dharma is ignorance only. For a person of illumination, when the ignorance, which is the characteristic of the deep sleep state, decays, he lives in the consciousness of Brahman alone, though his physical and mental activities continue with the Jagrat Dharma. Very beautiful. This point is very beautiful. Some people will think, what is the use of this so much sadhana to reach that state of Brahman consciousness? No? I'll be like dead. Most of the people say, what is the use? I'll be dead. I'll not be there. Yes, you will be dead. But your physical activity will continue. And you will be merged into, 90% of the mind is sucked in there. With the 10% of mind, this day-to-day function, eating, sleeping, talking to people.
Last at the end, last question. Now, one question I have is, all these are explained with respect to our, embodied state, like in terms of the sheets or the deep sleep, dreaming, all these. But what is the state after death?
Death.
After death.
After death in the subtle body. We go to the subtle body.
So it's totally different from the...
No. Today night you go, you live in your subtle body.
The deep sleep?
No. Dream. Dream. Whenever dream is there is the causal body also is there. As I said, now we have 3 bodies altogether, plus Brahman. Now we go to dream, then one body, the external bhot kambal, the itchy blanket, you drop, I disidentify. Then remains Manomaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya also two together in the dream. When body one goes migration, these two body goes out of the, because physical body remains here. The subtle body and the causal body, those two. Subtle body means without causal body, subtle body cannot stay. And causal body cannot stay without Atman. So Atman is everywhere, but one drop, two will go in the subtle body. And then enter into another physical body. Huh? And then I start again new journey from there. And but when one realization comes, they live in that last layer of consciousness. That's the ego body. And that ego body or Anandamaya, because why it is Anandamaya? Mayat Pratyay. Mayat Pratyay is Prachurjarthe. Immense, immense joy. Anandamaya. So that's why it is called Anandamaya Kosha. A covering, though a covering, but in that covering, a little touch of that. That's why Ramakrishna said, I don't want to be sugar. I have to taste the sugar. So it's Anandamaya, such an Ananda. I know, Ma, don't make me behus karuna, don't make me unconscious. Thakur said, na, Ma, আমায় বেহুশ করিস না, আমি রসে বসে থাকি. Ramakrishna says, I will live in this rush and boss. Boss means control, because self-control. But I will go and come. Swamiji, Ramakrishna one day asked, Acha, Noren, suppose there is a bowl full of honey and you are a bee, one of the bees, one bee. So how shall you eat the honey? He said, I will be sitting on the edge and sucking the honey. Then he said, why not you go and in the middle? Then he said, I'll die. Then Ramakrishna said, no, it is the ocean of consciousness. No one dies there. That is the eternal life. But still, relatively, if you want to understand, to enjoy the honey, then you have to sit on the edge and push your mouth and enjoy it. So this realization in the susupti state is the state of enjoyment. That's why it is called the greatest place of joy. And that is the ignorance, is the state characteristic of the deep sleep state. When state decays, then when that deep sleep state also goes away, then a person lives in the consciousness of Brahman alone. Because that bee merges into the ocean, got caught into the trap of the honey, and then it becomes a part of the honey. Sometimes honey sellers sell that with the bee together, isn't it? The bee is embedded into the honey. So the soul get merged into their own nature. Though his physical and mental activities continue, we think that it is death. It is not death, it is a state of joy. No one can experience that much joy in any phase of life but after Samadhi. That's why Swami Brahmananda said that after Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the spiritual life starts after Nirvikalpa Samadhi. We don't understand these things. What is after Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Your spiritual life starts. What are you doing now? Because that is the real spiritual life, means you really enjoy what is spiritual life. We don't enjoy. We are struggling with our mind and fighting and every day complaining. I see it, my mind does not cooperate. Oh my God, I am so miserable. But after that experience of that last veil of ignorance, that is the consciously moving every day into that ground of reality, consciousness, then if the veil is lifted or gone, then that is the state of blissful, ever blissful state. And no one can Ever once they got it, it will never go. That's why it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, uh, in in the sky, if thousands and millions of sun, Divi Surjo Sahasresu, Divi Surjo Sahasresu, Bhavet Jugapat Uttita. Jugapat means at a time. If at a time in the sky, thousands of sun come at a time, and you have the capacity to see that brightness and brilliance, will you forget in your whole life that brilliance? So he's giving an example. That type of experience comes, which is unforgettable. When you come back into the body mind again, mind, the trace remains so tangible, it supersedes all other experiences. That's why Raja Maharaj used to say, if people say, I don't get time, I'm so busy, where is my time? 24 hours, it goes away. They say, well, you don't do meditation and prayer, no? If you do meditation and prayer, then what is? It will be one part of the mind. If you apply one part of the mind in the work, there will be no such work to be finished. It can be done in thrice. So anyhow, so they live in the body, but at the same time, their mental, physical activities continue, but they remain the consciousness of Brahman alone. A beautiful. These are called the eternal message of our Vedanta. No? Okay, now 35. Hitva Shushupti Susuptavogyanam Hitva Susupto Agyanam Hitva Shushupto Agyanam Jadbhavo Bhavavarjitaha Jadbhavo Bhavavarjitaha Pragya Swarupam Gyatva Pragya Swarupam Gyatva Pragyahina Tatha Bhavo Pragyahina Tatha Bhava. Beautiful. Now, Hitva Susupto Agyanam, in the Susupti state, if you go to the deep sleep state, and the Agyano, the veil, which was just the last separation point, if you can, Susupto Agyanam Hitva, if you can give away, you can drive away that ignorance, or ignorance, you can get out of the ignorance. Jad Bhavo, that is Bhavo Varjito. There is one existence which is beyond all existence. Bhava means existence. But Bhava Varjita, it is not like this existence, this stable existence. This, having disregarding the ignorant state of deep sleep, attaining the nature that is bereft of any characteristics. You cannot characterize there anymore. Beyond all characterization. Bhava Varjita translate, it's very difficult to translate the word bhava. That's why Bengali translation is easy. They say bhava. English is bhava, Sanskrit is bhava, Bengali is also bhava. Hindi also bhav. Bhav, wow, wow. Bhavana, bhavana. Bhavana, the bhav. So, but in English, the bhava, as it, if you penetrate into the meaning of the bhava, it's very vast dimension of meaning is there. So you remain in a bhava which is bhava varjita. You remain in a bhava, in a mental state or in a state which is bereft of any characterization. You cannot characterize. Characterization is possible for limited thing. You can define it, you can characterize it. But for infinite, what characterization you will give there? So therefore, what you do? Pragya, by your own wisdom, analytical path, this book already taught us how to do that. By your own wisdom, prajna means wisdom, knowledge. Swarupam gyatva, knowing your own nature. What is your own nature? Beyond the ignorance, that which remains. The witness, which you are saying, witness consciousness is what? Witness consciousness is the infinite Brahman added with the witness idea of I. It is mixed with. If your I drops, what remains? That remains. So, prajnaya sarupam gyatva, by your wisdom, you know the swarupa, your own divine nature. And what is that nature? Pragyahinas tatha bhava. Even you are a wise man, even you are known, you are a knower of truth, get out those ideas of knowing and knower and all these things. You become who you are. So, having disregarded the ignorant state of deep sleep, attaining the nature that is bereft of any characteristics, and having known your own nature by spiritual wisdom, be the one beyond the wisdom thereafter. Even wisdom is a word. Wisdom means you are a knowledgeable person. You go beyond. That means there is no word can describe that. Go to that state. Beyond. As Swamiji said, Avang Manasa Gocharam, Bujhe Pran Bujheja. Go to that state where you will be identifying with that real nature. Yeah? And this understanding, who is understanding, with what tool he is understanding, all will dissolve there. 36. Na shabda sravanam napi, na shabda sravanam napi, na rupam darshanam tatha, na rupam darshanam tatha, bhava bhavu navai kinchit, bhava bhavu navai kinchit, sadevasti na kinchana, sadevasti na kinchana, na shabda. There is no sound. There is no sound. We say anahata sabda. No? This is in the creation level. But when you go beyond the creation to your divine self, where is the sound? No shabda, no sravanam, no hearing. No ear is there to hear the sound. Neither the sound is there, neither the organ of hearing is there. No shabda, sravanam napi, no rupam. There is no name and form. No darshan, I see, that seeing. There is no form, there is nobody to see. Neither the object, neither the subject. Nothing is there. Na rupam darshanam tatha. Bhavo abhavo. It is there. Oh, it is not there. Navai kinchit. This type of idea is not there. Then what is there? You are talking about Brahman, Atman, and at the same time, there is no object to see, neither the eyes are there, no object of sound, and no ear is there. What is that? Sadevasti. It is there. I cannot say anything. It is there. That's why it's called Satchidananda. Satchidananda, they say to just, we people don't understand anything, just to give an idea. That's why they talk. But there cannot be, you cannot use any word. Any word will disturb. Any word will defile the characteristic what Brahman is. Therefore, there is nothing as such. So 36 verse says, there is neither hearing of sound, nor seeing of any form. There is certainly neither existence nor non-existence. There is nothing else but the true reality or existence only. Now, how can we do all this again? The last conclusive verse, 2 verses. 37 verse. Su suksmaya dhiya buddhya Susukmaya Dhiya Buddhva Swarupam Swantu Chetana Swarupam Swantu Chetana Buddho Jnaninulinayam Buddho Jnaninulinayam Jattat Shuddha Sarupakam Jattat Shuddha Sarupakam Sukshmayathiya. You can understand this not by this brain which understands money, subject of the world, all this the materialistic thing. This buddhi will not go there. You cannot take a what you call chopper eh, to have nerve, what you call nerve surgery. eh. Neurosurgeons, you give a neurosurgeon one chopper, well you cut and do the surgery to me. That weapon does not work there. Susukshmaya, finest
Final of the final.
things are necessary. That buddhi is not this buddhi. The buddhi should be very pure buddhi. Suddha buddhi. Thakur said Suddha buddhi. Pure buddhi. And that for spiritual life is for getting pure buddhi only. Spiritual life is for getting only pure mind. All sadhana is only to get my mind, buddhi, which is dark, unclear, to be clear and bright. So Susukshmaya. Sukshma means fine. And here they are using the word Susukshma, finer than the finest. That type of extraordinary buddhi, dhiya, buddhya, sarupam, swastha chetanam. Swantu chetanam and swastha chetanam. Two alternate reading are there. Sarupam, your own sarupa, your own nature, and swastha, you be established in that swastha chetana, that consciousness. And buddha, by your intelligence, pure intelligence, jnaneno linayam, let your buddhi dissolve into that jnaneno, in that knowledge itself. The tool which was trying to understand the truth in the pure state, that truth ultimately should get dissolved. Thakur's example, the salt doll was trying to measure the ocean, and the salt doll went, and think. Now salt doll is trying to measure the ocean, and as it measures, suppose it is dipped into the ocean, as much is dipped, molten, gone. As much is molten, gone, up to this, gone. What it becomes? It becomes the ocean. So the measuring instrument is the buddhi. Buddhi, purified buddhi. And with that buddhi, you try to measure Brahman, Atman, this, that, all this big thing, no? And of course, a point will come that entire tool gets dissolved into it. It remains. Who will say what buddhi, what mon? But when they come back, they can talk about. So, susukshmaya dhya buddhya swarupam sastu chetana buddho jnaneno linayang, by the knowledge. It is the Buddhist to be dissolved. How? It is not like a salt I put into the bowl of water. You cannot like physically do. Buddho dhiya, buddho jnaneno, by this wisdom. Wisdom will take this buddhi into linayam, when buddhi will lose its all identity of recognizing. Recognizing means recognizer, recognizing object, and recognizing tool. These three will collapse. That's why all the time scripture says triputi laya. Triputi laya. Laya means dissolve. Triputi, the three. Gyan, gyo, gata, dhyan, dhyo, dhata. এই যে বুদ্ধি যদি বলে এখানে জ্ঞান, anyhow, seer, seen, object and the tool to see. Anyhow, so all these when lean I am, tat shuddham, that which is extremely pure, Jat Tat Suddha Sarupakam, that remains. That which is Shuddha, ever pure, that Sarupa, your own nature, that remains. Therefore, 37 says that know it to be the pure state when intellect dissolves in knowledge, which comes after understanding, to extremely subtle intellect, the nature of the indwelling consciousness. So you come back to your indwelling consciousness. Now 38 verse ends.
Oh, we have many questions are there.
Acha, now the 38 verse, the end verse of this chapter. Then we'll, of course, it is not the end, but the teaching of Krishna's major teaching is done here. Then Santo Broto will come, that other further discussion. But this is the end of the book, really the end of the book. Iti te kotitang tattvam, iti te kotitang tattvam, sarobhutang shubhasayo, sarobhutang shubhasayo, shoko moha toi nasti, shoko moha toi nasti, shuddha ruposi niskala, shuddha ruposi niskala. Now he's saying, Krishna is saying, O Arjuna, itite ekothitam. I have son thus far, tattam. I have told you the truth, which is sarabhutam, which is the essence of all knowledge. Shubhasayam, which is the abode of all auspiciousness. If you think of this day and night, then all auspiciousness will come in life. And then you will understand shoka, bereavement, or lamentation, what we do, bereavement. Moho, clingingness, or what is called? Delusion. Tuinasti, it is not yours. You are Shuddha Ruposi. You are of the nature of extreme pure nature, Niskala. You have no kala, means no partless. So, this truth narrated to you, O Arjuna, a virtuous disposition is the most essential one. There is no grief and delusion for you. You are undivided, pure, and conscious in nature. So you are that pure consciousness. So here ends the chapter. And we'll have next day, it is not ended as I said. There are more verses. How many verses? 50?
6 verses are there. It's only 38.
We'll have to 56 verses. So we are on the 39 onward. We'll read next time. Okay. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Panamastu. Okay, now a few questions and the end. What to read many books? If we take one or two such verse and every day contemplate, we like to read many books. We want to know this book, that book, and a new book has greater excitement. But nothing new, but it's different way, just expressing the same idea in different ways. We have to hold on to that. Shubha, or somebody is saying, is this earth the only place where karma gets worked out? Yes, I have heard that, and the scripture says so. One also adds to karma here on this earth, so wondering other locals whether similar rules exist. I think that it is said this way, as we understand, that this is karma bhumi. This is the plane where you do work and accumulate your good or bad bank balance. With a good bank balance, you go to heaven. With a bad bank balance, you go to suffer in the hell. And hell, several hells. Heaven, several heavens. First class heaven, second class heaven, third class heaven. Or you can 5-star hotel, 7-star hotel, like that. These are only they say. So, but you have to come back from there again in the earth. That is the fate. That is the scripture say. After period, this is your enjoyment period or a suffering period. You go to hell, hellish experience. You don't do anything there. Your karma adds, I do not know. Scripture does not say that you add. This is the wasting or exhausting the result of your karma. If you don't give it to God, where it will go? If you keep some money and don't deposit it in the bank, where will you have? In your pocket. So in your pocket, that pocket money you spend. When it's exhausted, then you go and work again. So you come back into the earth and do work again and again. That is the idea. Normally, as is the I know this much, that other planes, you don't accrue any karma, good or bad, but you do what? You only exhaust your punnam or apunnam, what is auspicious or inauspicious you have experienced, earned, you spend it there. Bad karma, okay, you suffer something there in the hell and then release from there, come back and become a human personality. But again, start your work. That's why it is called this life is precious. How to utilize our every day and we can go towards realization. Another question, is it our inclination to designate names and forms to our environment that traps us more deeply in Maya? Why must we name things? That's the true point is you are correct. It's our inclination to designate names and forms to our environment, and not only that environment, everything should be named and given some name. If you don't give, scientists today saw some star in a Hubble bubble. They will be excited. Immediately they'll give the name. Oh, this rain, devastating rain. Immediately there will be some name. Otherwise, we cannot separate out. In this world of division, this is the duality and multiplicity. In this world of multiplicity, there will be always this division. Name and form should be. Otherwise, that's why you go beyond name and form. That is Atman. So if you are here, you have to divide the name and form. See, nose, eyes, ear, why he has given? All separate, name. Achha, suppose it is called ear. Eh? So had we been learned that that is called the eyes? Everyone would have used the word eyes here. Whatever you have given them, and people have followed, that become a tradition. No? So I think we must rename things, and we must name things if we want to live in the world. Otherwise, we cannot separate out one thing from the other. Two people are standing. How will you say if you don't know what is the name of the people? You can say, oh, tall, the eyes like that, and how many things you have to describe to, rather you say John or say Mary, and the things will be easy. So that's why name is necessary with the form in this world. But if we want to forget name and form, then see the Atman everywhere. Then no name, no form. You can see the name and form and see the Atman there. 2. Would we have no knowledge of sensory input when enlightened? At the point of enlightenment? No. Then it is not enlightenment. You have enlightenment at the same time this duality. No. After enlightenment, when you come back, your enlightenment remains in your memory so strong you cannot forget that. At the same time, you see the duality because you are working to the mind. Because any knowledge would indicate separation. Yes, that is true. So, no knowledge, we would have no knowledge, sensory knowledge in that state of experience that is beyond all sensory experience. Okay? Thank you.
Tomorrow gospel class.
Tomorrow will be gospel class at 7:30. Jai Ma, thank you all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thomas More.
Closed.